Well, accounting is always in the center of your ERP. Nevertheless, the size of the company itself. But of course, depending on the size, well, different people might interact a little bit as the accountant, like in an SME, for example. But in a multi-company, well, that part will be completely outsourced, well, to the finance department. And that's not different in Odoo. If we take Odoo in the center, well, different departments will nourish the accounting application from different profiles, from different departments. And that's exactly what we would like to show you with this talk in order to show you how accounting is in the center and how different people will interact directly or not directly within the accounting department. So we suggest that you join us for a trip within our sports store where we will act as different people from different departments and see how all of that is related with the accounting. So, Robin, let's get started. And well, I would suggest that we start within our procurement department and that you connect yourself and act as a procurement manager.
Yes. So first of all, what I will do is go into my mails because, of course, well, I receive a lot of mails from my suppliers first. So what I will do is just forward them into my general inbox, which is related to an email alias in Odoo. So as you can see, this one was a PDF and this one is an XML file. So I just forward both of them, I send it, and now I can jump into Odoo. As you can see here, I'm connected as a procurement manager, and first of all, I have a direct view on my activities for the future, for today, and which are late. So when I click on it, I have a direct view on all the activities that I need to do. The first one is the one for today. So when I click in it, you see that it's a vendor bill linked to a purchase order. And when I go into my purchase order, I have the direct link with my vendor bill. I can either choose to, confirm it here, or I can go via my accounting here. I go into my vendor bills. I have a favorite filter on my activities, go in that, and I just confirm it right away.
Okay, cool. But does that mean that you, as a procurement manager, you need to validate all the incoming bills?
Well, no, it depends on all available data that we have within Odoo, and here in this case, it's related to my amount.
Okay, thanks. Now that we went through the validation process, can you maybe show us a little bit how it works for the creation of the master data? How we create the supplier, for example?
Yes, sure. So to do so, what I will do is jump into my purchase application here, and I will create a brand new purchase order for my new supplier, which is Odoo. And as you can see here, via the partner autocomplete feature, I just click on Odoo that has been recognized, and I fetch all the information from that supplier. I will add him some payment terms here, a classic 30 days. And what I will do as well is add a bank account number. So here it's for a Belgian one, so I add just a Belgian account and can save and close.
Wait, wait, wait. Does that mean that you can basically add your own bank account on the supplier form?
Well, yeah, basically I could, but here not, because I don't have the authority to validate here. I can click on it. So I will leave a message for my colleague, which has the authority to do so. I will do that here via an activity for my office manager and say right away, well, please validate bank. And I just send it to her and she can validate it right away. Oh, first I will put it on today so that she can do that ASAP.
Okay, cool. Very interactive. You can interact with all of your different contacts, colleagues, actually, directly on the contact form.
Yeah.
Great. Let's continue. You as a procurement manager, I guess you also want to report on your different KPIs. I guess you procure a lot. You want to follow up on different projects or maybe something else. Can you show us a little bit how that can work within Odoo?
Sure. So what I will do is jump back into my purchase order, and to have a clear view on my expenses, well, I use the analytic accounting. So here I will do my purchase order that was for running shoes, and will add the analytic accounting. As you can see, department and office are mandatories, and the sport and type isn't. So here it's 50% for the Antwerp office and 50% for my Brussels office. So I just add those, and I add the quantity, and I confirm this one. Oh yeah, something I forget. I need to tag my accountant because actually my supplier said there were transport fees, and I just add those, and I say it's agreed.
Okay, cool. So you validated the purchase order. What happens now, well, accounting linked, if you received those different goods?
Well, let's do it together. Here we have the smart button on the receipt. And when I click on it, I can validate my quantities. And by doing so, you see that the valuation smart button is appearing. When I click on that, I have a direct link with my journal entry that was automatically created when I received my goods.
Cool. I really love the fact that you can drill down everywhere in Odoo till the related record cross applications, actually. Okay, cool. Well, let's continue. I guess that as a procurement manager, it's also part of your responsibilities maybe to manage the payment for your suppliers.
Yes, indeed. Well, to do so, I will now jump into my accounting application. And you see here on my dashboard, I have a direct link on my bills to pay. When I click on that, I have by default a group by partner, and all the lines are related to one and single one payment. So as you can see here, this one is related to the same bill, but have several installments on different dates. And here as well, on the discount date, that means that I have a cash discount if I pay before the 10th of November. You can see here as well that the discount amount is visible, so that will be the discount amount if I pay before that date. Now we'll filter on my overdue. So I only have the payments to do for now. I register my payment for my bank, and what I will do as well is create a batch payment as easy as this.
Okay, so you created the batch, but is it also up to you to validate the batch and to send it to the bank? Or how can I see who needs to validate that?
Well, again, yeah, indeed, it depends on how your company is structured, of course. Here in this case, if I click here, I see it's related to my CEO, so I validate it. And again, thanks to the segregation of duties, it sends an automatic activity to my CEO so that he can validate later on.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Robin. Well, maybe to end this first flow, I guess that you, as a procurement manager, you also have to, let's say, move a lot between your different locations, or maybe even invite one of your suppliers to the restaurant. Can you easily manage your expenses within Odoo as well?
Yes, sure. So we have an expenses app here, which is highly integrated with our accounting as well. What I can do first is just scan a document here, which is my restaurant, basically my restaurant expense. And this one will be automatically, well, OCR'd. And what I can do as well is create a new one for my millage. Because I went to the supplier, I take millage for 200 kilometers, just create this one, and then I have all my expenses listed. When I take those, I create my report and submit to the manager easily as this.
Cool. That was easy. Well, I suggest that we dive into our slides in order to have a small recap. So first of all, you've seen that Odoo is a real collaborative tool. Everywhere in Odoo, you can manage different activities thanks to the chatter that is available everywhere. You can generate activities for yourself or cross all of your different colleagues. And directly, they will be all available on the dashboard in order to see what you need to do at what moment. But within an organization, it's also important that segregation of duty exists. So also here, well, you can see that it's really possible to make sure that everybody in the company can do exactly what they need to do. We showed an example, of course, with the bank account, but thanks to the access rights, you can make sure that everybody can do exactly what he needs to do. Okay, so I suggest that we continue our flow, Robin. Maybe we can continue as the office manager, because I believe that you asked her to validate the bank account. We might start with that.
Exactly. Let's jump into Odoo now as my office manager. Well, first of all, what you see is I have access to different applications than my previous colleague. I do have access to different companies as well. But I still have an activity to do here, which is related to my contact. And I see that because I have the authority to validate this bank account, and well, my colleague from procurement asked me to validate it, I just validate this one and I'm done.
Okay, cool. So now you can do it as an office manager and not a procurement. Cool. So now that you're done with your activities, I guess it's also part of your responsibilities as an office manager to handle all the incoming documents. How can you easily manage that in Odoo?
Well, documents come in by different channels. We at the sports store are completely paperless, which means that we can receive, we have different channels like per mail, per letter, via PUPL, etc. But we pay a third party to scan all our documents and send it via an email alias directly in the right workspace. So we can set different workspaces for the different departments. And as you can see here, we created some of them. And we have as well different tags. So we see here that we have the tags to filter on, to have all the related entries, all the related documents, sorry. And all of that can have one email alias per workspace.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Way more clear. I suggest that we start with the inbox in that case.
Yes. So as we can see here, well, first of all, I received the two documents from my procurement manager from before, but I received my daily mail as well here. You see it's a big PDF with different documents in it, so I will split those. And here from here on, I will only use my keyboard shortcuts. So I take those 5 ones, which are obviously related to finance because it looks like invoices. Then I have this one, which well, it looks like a fine, so I will take those, unsplit it, and send to HR. And then I have these two here. This one is a really nice event, so I will just send that to marketing, and I can close the rest.
Okay, cool. Well, I understand that it's part, of course, of your authority to send it to the right department, but do you think it's logical that everybody can see my fines?
Well, yes, no, of course not. Here it's related to my access rights, so what I will do here is assess that fine to my sales.
The salesperson? Really? Again? I have the feeling that he receives a lot of different fines. Is there any reason to check out how many fines he already received?
Well, yes, in the documents application, you can look on the owner. So here, if I look for the sales owner, I can easily find all the documents related to him. But what I can do is even better here is look on the index content. So I look for his license plate to find all his fines related to him.
Okay, nice, very easy. Well, not so nice because it seems that he received a lot of them, but very easy to look up across all of your different documents. So, what about the bills that you send in the beginning? I believe that our sports store is a multi-company environment. Can I handle all of those easy and send them into the right accounting of the right company?
Well, that's a very good question. So you can see the workspace as a general inbox document. And what I will do now is connect myself as my French subsidiary. And I will take the documents that are related to that French subsidiary and create the vendor bill. By doing so, automatically it goes into the right accounting. So it goes into the French accounting. And if now I go back and I connect myself as my Belgian one and I look at the one that I did not send left, I can create my vendor bill, and here again it will go into the accounting of my Belgian account.
Okay, well, it makes perfectly sense, of course, that you receive them in one general mailbox like you do for paper, and then you can send it in the right department. So it's great that it's the same if you digitalize it. I suggest that we remain in the Belgium store and that you see us how you can handle the different bills.
Yeah, sure. So what I will do now, of course, is jump into my accounting. And you see here that I have 3 bills to validate. So I take this one, I will just refresh, and automatically, well, the OCR will find all the information. And you see that because there was a purchase order number, well, Odoo retrieves the information, but you see as well that there is a slight difference on the vendor bill with the amount in Odoo. So I will deep dive into my purchase order, and here I see, well, thanks to my colleague, procurement manager, well, I know that I have to add some transport fees. So what I will do here is add the transport fees for the right amount, and you see now, yeah, we see now that the total is completely fine. I will confirm this one. Oh yeah, I can't validate because the amount is too high, so the procurement manager has to validate this one. Now let's go back into my bills, and I take the next one. And this one has the right amount, the right account, so I can just confirm this one.
Robin, 1 second, because it's very cool that you can do that as an office manager, but do you believe that it's up to the office manager to process all the different bills?
Well, of course, I'm not an accountant, but based on the historical data and the strong artificial intelligence that Odoo has, well, I know that this bill is completely right. So now if I go to the next one, here in this case, well, I see that the artificial intelligence hasn't recognized the account, so what I will do is ask my accountant colleague to verify the account, because here in this case, of course, I don't take such responsibility.
Okay, nice. I think there is one thing that I would still see. Can we jump back into our document application? Because we spoke about the files, huh? And we can see how you can manage different documents. But is it also easy to interact with your colleagues and ask for documents? We spoke about the salesperson. I believe that you need to handle
Okay.
his, let's say, his driver license. Can you ask him very easily?
Yes. So first of all, what I did is adding a tag on the driver license. So what you can see here is all my employees has added the driver license, but as you can see, well, my sales didn't. So I will request it very easily like this. I just add the name, driver license on the sales, of course, and 0 days so that I receive it as soon as possible. And you see as well that because I had the tag here, well, I have it automatically here. I request it, and when I go into my chatter, I see that automatically it sends an activity to my sales and he can retrieve it on his Odoo.
Okay, very easy to interact again with your colleagues. I suggest that we have a small recap of everything that we saw as an office manager, because first of all, you've shown that we really have a dynamic document management directly integrated in Odoo. I can easily split my documents, send it to the different departments, and allocate it, assign it to the right persons. But you can also easily ask for different documents in order to make sure that everything remains centralized in Odoo on the right place on the chatter of the record. But we also saw that thanks to powerful artificial intelligence and technologies like OCR and People, well, most of the manual input work of accountants will be completely automated, thanks to the powerful artificial intelligence behind. So that means that more and more, well, a lot of stuff of his manual work can be outsourced to different people within the organization, and the accountant will actually verify, after all, instead of putting it in manually. Okay, so now that we've done, let's switch into our salesperson, because I think that you asked him for his driver license, and maybe you can even generate some turnover.
Yes, let's go for it. So I jump back into Odoo, and again, here I have my activities, and you see that I have one for today. So here you have exactly the same view as previously, but what I will do here is go into my Kanban view and just click on my placeholder, go into my documents, and I can upload my driver license as easy as this.
Okay, cool. Well, now that your activities are done again, I guess that, well, as our sports store, we like to manage some recurring revenue for, let's say, our monthly courses or sport
Mhm.
courses. Is there an easy way to manage those subscriptions, let's say, within Odoo?
Yes, so to do so, I will jump into our subscription app and I will create a new one for our new client, Odoo, which is already a supplier, and I will add some information again about the payment terms. I will grant him a 60 days with 10 days cash discount. And what I will do as well is add a partner limit, and it is a standard partner limit of 10,000, which makes it possible to follow up on how the sales are going, and I can have a banner if I'm going above the 10,000.
So, 10,000 euros. What do you mean with that? Is it the outstanding invoices at any moment?
No, it's the invoices and the confirmed sales orders as well.
Okay, cool. Interesting. I heard that Odoo is already available on the PayPal platform. Can I easily send them my invoices over the platform?
Yes, so from now on the contact form, as you can see here, you can choose how you want to send your electronic invoicing. And here I will just click on verify, and from now on, when I will send my invoices, it will go via the PayPal platform and will retrieve it on the PayPal platform very easily.
Okay, thanks, Robin. Well, we're talking about recurring revenue over here, right? That means that, if I'm not mistaken, it's a monthly course, but you invoice it on an annual basis. Do that mean that every year, year after year, you need to create those invoices manually?
Well, no, actually, I will go back into my subscription and create the one for my yoga session here in this case. And you will see that I choose my yearly recurring plan. When I confirm this one and when I create my first invoice and confirm that first invoice, well, automatically Odoo will create the invoices for in the future and again on a recurring base.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
This was recurring revenue. Unfortunately, I guess the store cannot only have recurring revenue. So how can we easily invoice our non-recurring revenue?
Okay, well, to do so, I will go into my sales application, and here I have a direct view on the orders, the sales orders that I need to invoice. You see that I have them line by line, and I can create my invoices very
Okay,
easily.
that was easy. I can see you have different sale orders of the same customer. Is there any easy way to globalize them in a single invoice?
Yeah, indeed. Here we have well, two times the same customer. Well, when I take those and create my invoice, you see that you have the option of consolidated billing, which basically means that you create one customer invoice.
Okay, cool. I can see there is a starting date as well. Where is that for?
Well, good question. Start date is related to my timesheets. So now let's say I take my timesheets for October. I apply this, I create my invoice. You see here that for Mr. Sunens, I have well recorded hours for 9.75, and when I go here into my task, I directly see that those are grayed out. If now I deep dive into my task on my timesheets, you see that the ones for October are grayed out because invoice has been created, and the other ones are still black because it's waiting for the invoice for next month. Now I will go back into my invoices, I take all of those and I just post them.
Okay, cool. Really cool again that you can deep dive into there to even see the timesheets linked to it. So help me a little bit. You validated the invoices. I'm a little bit confused with the PEPAL setup. Did they already receive the invoices as well?
Well, no. First of all, I did create as easily my posting entries, but I can send and print very easily as well. So I click on send and print, and you see that by default Odoo will say, well, here Mr. Sunens is not connected to PEPAL, which is completely fine here in my case. He will receive it by email, but the other ones will have an access via the PEPAL platform. So when I send and print, it will go via the right way based on the customer.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Nice to see that. I can see there is an invoice for the sports store France also. I
Yeah.
guess that means that it's an intercompany billing. Something specific over there?
Yes, we activated the synchronization, which means that
Okay.
when I create here this invoice and I go back into my French subsidiary and I go into the vendor bills, you see that the invoice is directly synchronized in their accounting as well.
Okay, nice. Okay, let's jump back to our Belgium store because we created the one for Odoo, I think. It was a recurring revenue on a monthly basis, like we said, but you invoice it on an annual basis. So that means defer revenue. Can you show us a bit how that works?
Yes, well, this is the invoice that we created. And as you can see, well, from the subscription app, the start date and the end date have been taken over, which is very useful, of course. And even more, when I confirmed it, well, the deferred entries were created from now and for in the future. And when those dates will arrive, it will be automatically posted.
Okay, they will even automatically be posted.
Yeah.
Cool. When you switched in the multi-company environment before, I saw you had some different branches in our Belgium store. What about that?
Oh, yes. So here what I will do is go into my customer invoices and I will do a group by company really easily here. And you see that via that way, actually in our case, we choose to have business units for all those branches. So if I go here, I see that I have different templates per business unit and the same way for this one, which is, as you can see, completely different from my legal entity.
Okay, nice. Maybe to end with for our salesperson, I guess it's also a little bit part of your responsibilities to follow up on your customers. Can you let us see, sorry, how you can easily manage that?
Yeah. So here in the customers menu, we have the follow-up reports. And as you can see, you can follow up all the customers. And I created a favorite filter on the one that I need to follow up. I click on follow up and by default, Odoo will send all the open invoices. You see there are a lot. And my customer can pay very easily later on.
Thanks. Okay, Robin, let's have a small recap of everything what we've saw for our salesperson. So first of all, I think you demonstrated very well that we have a really smooth invoicing process within Odoo. And it starts as from the creation of the contact. Thanks to our autocomplete function, we create the contact and you can even define some payment terms and even some credit limits. But you can also directly link the right format that your customers should receive their invoices. But also from there, because it's company specific, thanks to the setup of the contact, we can easily make sure that we can send all of them together. And thanks about the setup, we will make sure that they will arrive in the right format at your customers. So we've seen also that the sports store is a multi-company environment. Thanks to the multi-company feature, we can share a lot of master data between all the different companies. Intercompany billing is totally automated. And thanks to branch management, you can have different invoice layouts within the same legal entity. And last but not least, I already said it a few times today, but thanks to the fact that we're now an official PayPal access point, we can directly send all of these invoices over the platform completely free. So let's continue our journey over here, because we already interacted a lot with accounting, but I suggest that as from now on, you connect yourself as an accountant,
Okay,
because I believe you have some accounts to validate.
exactly. Let's connect as an accountant. So here we have again all the activities due, and I will take this one, and you can see that's the one from my office manager that asked me to verify the account, and of course, well, I have that authority, and I see it's related to gas and electricity. So I just add those amounts, and I confirm it right away.
Okay, nice. Now that you're done again with your activities, we've seen that the sales person created already the invoices. The office manager already created the vendor bills. What is left for the accountant?
Well, as an accountant, I'm the responsible for the banks, of course, for the reconciliation of the banks. And as you can see here, I'm connected via the bank synchronization with my bank, and I retrieve every 6 hours all the entries in my bank journal very easily.
Okay, I can see that, but I can also see there is a connection that is broken, right?
Yeah, indeed. Well, here it's mandatory by law to reconnect every 6 months. So what I will do is reconnect very easily to my bank. As you can see, it takes some time just to connect myself again. And when I connect myself, well, I will retrieve all my entries that will come back into my account, so that, well, actually, I don't have any discrepancy anymore between my bank and my bank journal. In
Okay.
Odoo, of course.
So now you're doing it, but you were already a little bit too late. Is there any risks involved to that? What if you're too late? Is there a risk that we fail to fetch some transactions?
No, 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 not at all. So what we have as well is here via the action button in our bank journal, we can find the missing transactions. So when I click on find missing transaction, and let's say I go way before, it will fetch all the transactions based on what Odoo knows that is in the system. And here, as you can see, we'll miss one for this one, and now we have still 5 items to reconcile. So no problem on that.
Okay, thanks, Ruben. Now that we have all our transactions, can you show us a little bit how you can reconcile them? Is that somehow automated, or is purely manual?
Well, yeah, we try to automate as much as we can, of course, but we can't automate everything. So here what I will do is click on my smart button and reconcile the 5 items. And as you can see here, I have some items that are still to validate. So this one, as you can see in the label, sorry, it's related to bank fees. So what I did is a reconciliation model that will recognize what is written in the label. So Odoo proposes the right account. So I will validate this one. And this one has the label batch payment. So remember before I asked my ECO to validate the batch payment, well, this one is a previous one. So when I click on this one, oh, I'm probably not connected to all of them. When I take this one and I take the batch, you will see that I have a batch of 690 euro, and it's not corresponding to the 480, of course. So we'll remove some of them, and now I can validate it. Odoo will then propose me to cancel the payments or to expect the payments later. Just cancel those. And then, well, this one has no label, no partners, so I'm not pretty sure. Well, you see that Odoo proposes by default the open invoices with the right amount, so I can deep dive in those. But here, to be honest, I have no idea which one is the good one. So I'll just tag my sales and ask which invoice, please. I can just send this, and I will put it as to check for me later on. And then this one, well, this one was already recognized by Odoo, as you can see here. Based on the bill due date, well, it recognizes that it's actually a cash discount. And you see that Odoo will automatically propose the cash discount entry, so I just need to validate this one. And now I have that last one, I need to check later on. And
Okay.
everything is reconciled.
That was fast. Robin, I remember when I was 12 years old, I was very proud that I could print my very first bank statements. But now that you're synchronizing everything, where can I find them?
Well, actually, nobody uses statements anymore, but if you want to follow up on your statements, be it to have a subtotal easily, in Odoo we have the option between two lines to put a statement. So when you do so, you can later on click on the subtotal and even print a PDF with all the entries related to it.
Okay, they're still there. Okay, now that we created invoices, bills, we reconcile them with the bank transactions, etc. Is there any easy way to verify what we've done, and can we easily adapt it?
Yes. So for my closing, what I always use is my journal report. Because in my journal report, I have a direct view based on my journal on all the entries that were done previously.
I can see that indeed you have some great information over here, but how can I easily adapt if I made mistakes?
Well, what I can do here is open a customer invoice, for instance, and when I deep dive in it, well, I see that it's not the right account. So I can reset to draft and add the right account here in this case. I will do the same for the other line, and I just confirm it again. Now let's say that I want to change that in bulk, because of course here in this case I want to change my accounts everywhere. I just look for the right account, I take all my entries and I change it via the mass editing. So I take the right account, confirm this one, and I can even go a little bit further because I see that here there is no type, so I'll just add some types in the analytic accounting and I confirm this one and it's adapted for all the entries.
Damn, that was powerful. So I guess most of the time you want to verify for the VAT return. Now we've seen the items itself, but is there somewhere an overview of the VAT return or the tax codes itself?
Yes, so I'll go back into my journal report, and this time what I will do is deep dive in my vendor bills. And here, when I go at the end, I see, well, all the information about the taxes applied and on the tax grids. So if I audit this and I go into my entries, I can see what are the invoices related, and even further, I can now audit the same for the tax grids applied, so that when I'm doing my closing, I can verify all my entries very easily.
Nice, and you have the image really everywhere. So now that you've verified everything for your VAT return, what about the VAT return itself? Can you easily draft this one in Odoo? And also, well, we have seen it already a few times. We are a multi-company environment. I believe that for some companies, it might be necessary to, let's say, have some VAT returns in different countries. Can we manage those in Odoo?
Yeah, that's a very good point. So here I'm in my tax report, and you see that by default I have the filter on my Belgian company, but I'm registered and tax registered in Germany and the Netherlands as well. So I can filter on those as well, and you see directly what are the figures in my tax report. Now I'll take my Belgian one, create my closing entry, post it, and you will see that automatically when I go back into my accounting menu, the log date has been put automatically for the taxes.
Okay, cool. We're done with the VAT return, but I guess it's not the only closing operation, right? Is there any other interesting closing operation?
Well, we have one important one because, of course, at the sports store we buy and we sell a lot, so we have to verify our inventory. So what we'll do is accrual entries. So I'll deep dive here in my purchase application, and I take all my purchase orders, and via my action menu, I can look at the accrued expense entries. And as you can see, based on the invoicing policy, we will have a direct link with what needs to be accrued, and you see that the date of the closing has been put here, and automatically it will be reversed when I create my entry.
Cool. So what's left? I believe a lot of accountants lose a lot of time also by reconciliation. It's also part of the closing process. Can you show us how that works?
Yes, so I'll go back into my accounting for that one, and in my accounting I can here reconcile. So here you can see that I have all my customers grouped by, and I can see all the data here. What I will do here for the first one is the fact that, well, you see that I have debit and credit amounts with the residual amount. I'll just click on reconcile, and by default, Odoo proposes, well, to find a one by one opposites and for the right partner. When I launch, well, the reconciliation is done easily. Now let's take a more advanced one. We just did the VAT report, remember? I will now put all my entries on one and single one account. So I take all those entries, I have the reconcile button here, and I will put that on the 4512, and I can just reconcile it. Now we've done that. We have two use cases, but what I would like to do is reconcile everything in bulk, of course. So I just click on auto reconcile. I go way back in the past just to be sure. I take the 1st of Jan here. I launch, and then everything is reconciled, boom, in 2 clicks.
Wow, very powerful feature, the reconciliation. Okay, so I believe that all our closing operations are done. When I talk about closing with accountants, they also talk always about closing the periods. How do we manage to close the period in Odoo?
Well, in Odoo, we don't really close the periods. We can filter on the dates at any time. So what we do is we put a log date here, and we'll do the same as for my closing entry for my tax return. And when I do that, well, nobody can put anything into the accounting before that date.
Okay, that was easy. So what's left? Should we inform someone that the closing is done? Maybe our CEO, perhaps?
Yeah, good idea. So what I will do now is, well, deep dive into my balance sheet. And you see here that, well, I'm on my classic balance sheet. What I did as well is a binding report, in which I have all the important information for my CEO. So here I have the VAT return, the profit and loss, the balance sheet, the tax report, the depreciation schedule, and EC sales list. And what I will do here is, well, save that one and go into the export it as a PDF and go into the right workspace. And here in this case, board of directors, of course. When I export it, it comes in the right workspace automatically.
Nice. So what's left? I guess that we need to create an activity for the CEO now?
No, I have something way more cool here in this case. What I will take is use an action button here for the documents application, and by clicking on sign, I will indicate on my document where my CEO can sign this one. So I just add the signature, I say it's an employee, I validate this one, I send it to my CEO, here in this case, so he will receive it by mail, and it will be in Odoo as well. And when you send it, well, it comes automatically in the activities of my CEO.
That's really cool and completely integrated within Odoo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump back to our slides and have a small recap of what we've seen. First of all, we've seen, well, that real-time accounting is really the new standard. Thanks to different ways of getting information into your accounting, it's directly updated. And thanks to the fact that you're working in one integrated tool, you can dive from accounting or from elsewhere, everywhere into all the related different applications, directly integrated in one single tool. And last but not least, well, the closing operation should not be a stress-filled period. You can directly automate all your different actions while you're processing all the different bills. It should not be an awful moment. So we're nearly done going through all our journey of the sports store. I believe that the last position is, of course, the one of our CEO. We put a lot of information into Odoo. Let's see how we can easily extract it from there. And I believe that as the CEO, you also have an activity, right?
Yep. So let's deep dive in my Odoo as a CEO here in this time. So we see that in my activities, I have a lot of activities, but I have one for today, which is related to my batch payment that was created before. So as you can see here, well, of course, I have the authority to validate this one. So I just validate it, and everything is done.
Okay, cool. Well, now that your activities as the CEO are done, the first question I ask myself is, in the very beginning, we started with the procurement manager, creating some, let's say, your analytic dimensions, etc. Can the CEO easily use them for reporting purposes?
Yes, I love to use the analytic dimensions. So what I will do now is going into my accounting in the analytic reporting. Because of course here I can see easily what are the costs and the revenues related to my analytics. So what I will do first is, well, have a view on the type and on the department, so I can see what are the type per departments. But what I prefer is have a look on a monthly base to how is it going in our company. So I take it per month, I take the right offices and the sports. Now I expand all, and you see that I already have a lot of information. Now what I will do is filter on this year, and you see that now I have all the information that I need in one report, just in one eye glimpse. But I see that, well, wait, I think there is an error here because as you can see, well, the Brussels office is specialized in bikes, and in Antwerp, Padel is really the hype for the moment. So I'll change this one because this one, of course, is an error. I'll put it in my Brussels office. So you see that just by going on it, I can mass edit everything. And I take this one and put it on the Antwerp office. Yeah, right away. And when I go back here in my ethic reporting, you see that really, well, Padel is skyrocketing the market. It's awesome.
Wow, that was indeed very easy to adapt. But these are all information that come from Odoo, right? As a CEO, is there any way that I can use that information and compare it also somehow with some additional information? Do I have to export it for that to Excel or something?
No, well, you can. Here you can always download that pivot view that we have here. What you can do as well is insert it in a spreadsheet directly in Odoo, which is much more useful if you ask me. What I can do as well is insert columns, let's say, and I can add the budget here, and I can add the delta. I create an easy formula, and I can even put some budgets here, so that now I can follow up all my budgeting based on my analytic reporting very easily.
Okay, and all of that data is updated in real time, right?
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
But this is a specific report that you created for him in a spreadsheet. So, what's the difference between the spreadsheet and all the different dashboards that we have?
Well, dashboards, I use dashboards as a CEO almost daily. You can use your dashboard based on all the data in Odoo. So I love it because I have a direct view on how it's going based on my different applications. But what I love the most is the fact that I can go here into my accounting and see the most important figures. And I can even go on the business units and see that, well, how it's going, what are my revenues and what are my costs, and even go into my French subsidiary. So you see, it's very useful as a CEO to have all the most information, the most important information in one place on my dashboards.
And all of them are completely working out of the box, right?
Yeah, indeed.
So I think we're really arriving at the end of our journey. I suggest that you close it by signing the closing binder.
Yeah, good point. So I go back into my activities here. You see that I have something to sign. So I go into the preview, and you see it's my binding report from previously. So when I click on sign document, I just click to start. It goes in the end. I can just validate this one, and I can even download it if I want.
Okay, thanks, Robin. I really like this one. Let's go back to the slides and have a last recap of everything that we saw. First of all, thanks to our many multiple dimensions everywhere, you can create some very powerful analytic reporting for different kind of stakeholders. And also thanks to our dashboards that come out of the way, out of the box, there is no configuration necessary for it. It gives some grateful reporting information for all kind of stakeholders as well. So we arrived at the end of our presentation. We hope that you enjoyed it and that we could explain you how different departments can work within Odoo in a single tool, all centralized around the accounting. So thank you very much for being with us today. We hope you enjoyed it and enjoy Odoo experience. We are available for questions in the pad right now. Thank you very much. Hello, hello again.
Hello.
Okay. So, when you tag to your salesperson for more info on the bank statement line, what do they see if they don't have accounting access?
Nothing. They just receive a notification by mail, but in most of the notifications we have a direct access to the record itself. So basically, normally they have a link over there so that they can click. But in that case, if he doesn't have access, he will not have the link, so he cannot dive into the record itself. You just receive an email notification. Or if you activate on
I think you don't even have the activity visible on Odoo.
not the activity, but you mentioned a log note, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
So they receive the mail, but
Yeah.
there is no button in there in order to jump into the record because you cannot dive into there.
Exactly.
But you receive the notification.
Okay. We have a couple questions about Mexico. So, if whether Bank Sync works in Mexico, but I think for those, maybe to go to the booth is a
It's a
better
complicated
option.
one for us, and also because we don't work a lot with Mexican companies from Belgium, from Europe. So I'm not sure at all. The easiest way would be to type your bank over there, and if it's not in there, well, it doesn't exist. All the available banks that work are available within the search in order when you connect your bank. But indeed, like you mentioned, if you have specific questions about that, there is the accounting booth in the over there. We have our product owners and our developers there available at any time. So please don't hesitate to visit them at the booth and ask them all those questions as well.
Okay, another thing, which is the reason of existence of the journal alias? If you advise to use documents or app to receive the invoices.
Well, basically, the short answer would be that it's up to you, of course. You can use both, and you can even use both together. Because there is a synchronization also from accounting to documents. In the parameters, in the settings of the document application, you can make sure that every single document that you created in accounting is also stored in the document application. So both can be used together. In my opinion, most of the time, I prefer to work directly from the document application because you have the possibility to split easily over there different kind of documents before you send it to accounting. But I know a lot of other people that prefer to post it directly in accounting, so it's up to you, I would say. But
Yeah,
you can use both together.
the advantage of the journal would be that you send it directly. If you use the OCR, it will be OCR automatically, so you have it in the journal. But it depends on how your
Yeah.
supplier is working, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thanks. So how does the vendor bill matching works together with the purchase order? I tried recently, and if it detects a match with the purchase order in field invoice underscore origin, or do alter the invoice instead of warning that they don't match?
Yeah, it's a tricky question, and I think it's not perfect, but it's very complicated if you have multiple lines, etc. So I will explain you how it works. Is it perfect? I guess no. But first of all, there are some changes in Odoo 17 as well. If we find the reference of the purchase order on the bill, we will heritate the invoiceable lines. And if there is a difference, it's up to you to fill it out. That's the first way of working. But it's not necessary that the reference is mentioned on the bill. If you process a bill and we can find one or multiple purchase order lines combined over multiple purchase orders, we will directly heritate the lines if we can perfectly fill in the vendor bill. So that are the two ways how it works. Or the reference should be there. We take all the invoiceable lines, or if we can find the perfect match, then we will heritate the different lines in order to create the bill.
Okay. What does find missing transactions do exactly? It connects to the bank to seek them, or recreate the transactions from Odoo move lines?
No, it indeed connects to the bank because every single transaction has a unique ID. So based upon that ID, we can see if we deleted it or if we didn't, if we haven't been able to fetch it. We can only have it once in the database for sure, but if we delete it, we can capture it back. So it connects to the bank and it searches for the ones that are not in your Odoo database.
Next one. How to make sure that the spreadsheet get updated with new products or any other element created after the creation of the initial spreadsheet?
You can show it if you want. But the thing is, the spreadsheet is a little bit different as a pivot table in Odoo. A pivot table is dynamic. If you add new products, it will automatically add it because, well, it's a pivot table within Odoo, and we can enlarge it because it's a report. It's not what we wanted with spreadsheet. If you create a spreadsheet with different formulas around it and you create, well, 100 new products, it will be completely enlarged and you will not see your formulas anymore or your graphics or whatever. So it's a specific choice to make sure that it's not updated automatically so that you keep the overview of your spreadsheet and that it doesn't move. It's actually like how it works in Excel as well. If you have a pivot table in Excel and you add new values, it will not update automatically neither. So it's really something that we wanted to do. But at any moment, because we have, of course, the information in Odoo, you can insert or you can create your spreadsheet again from scratch, or you can insert the new available items in a specific row or column. I don't know if you want to show it. You can easily.
Yeah, we can discuss that later with people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Don't hesitate to come by if it was not clear what I just said.
Okay. So does people only allow invoices interchange or purchase of sale orders as well?
As far as I understood, no, I'm pretty sure actually. For the moment, it's only invoices, bills, credit notes, so no sale orders, no purchase orders. But I guess that's maybe a next step. But for the moment, no.
Okay. Is it possible to assign activities to groups or teams?
No, the activity is assigned to a single
User.
user.
Yep.
Yeah. So no, you have to pick one and or create multiple activities. But I don't think it's the first time we received the feedback. We did it in the task that you can handle a task for multiple users, but not for activities, right?
Nope.
No, not yet. Don't hesitate to go again also to the product booths to give the feedback. The more we receive the feedback, the more they will be happy to do it maybe.
Okay. So Odoo 16 could not edit payment amount under batch payment list. Can Odoo 17 allow edit lists on payments directly in the list?
No, but I think it's very dangerous to do it. However, if you create a batch is only, let's say, taking multiple payments together. You can easily remove the batch at any moment because it's just a grouping of different payments. So in that case, I would suggest just delete your batch and correct your payments and create the batch again from scratch. There is nothing final over there when you create a batch. So just delete it and start again, but correct the payment instead of correcting the batch file.
Okay. How do we handle employee bank accounts, for example, for expenses? Contacts under a company don't have their own bank details?
Contacts, yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit HR linked. I'm not so
Yeah, it's
expert in
linked to
there.
the employee. It's on the contact
it's on
form of the employee. So
Yeah, it's the same as for a supplier, I think.
Yeah.
It's the same as for the supplier, I think.
Okay. So, question regarding sequences for journal entries.
Sequences.
Sequences, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you made any modification for the resequence action since V16?
No.
it's only for the administrator, and you need to be in debug.
But the answer would be no. Feel free to ask a more detailed question about the sequences. But there is nothing changed in between 16 and 17. No.
Okay. So, if PEPL incoming invoice contains PDF/image, document management can process to approve?
Yes. You. Sorry. The question was.
Yeah, it goes on, but
Okay,
it's
I
two
already
parts.
answered that. I will
Answer.
already answer. Sorry, that part.
Yeah.
So you can make sure that if it's retrieved from PEPL, it arrives directly in the document application, and if within the XML file the PDF is over there, we will attach it to the chatter as well, so that you basically see the image while it's an XML.
And second part. And create an invoice in accounting and link to a purchase order. Line contains analytic infos. Is it possible?
Can you say?
Yep. Read it yourself.
Which
What
one?
is
This one?
Yep. Yeah, the second
If
part.
PEPL contains.
you want to link.
Yeah, yes, I think it's exactly the same. If you use the OCR or if you use an invoice, the fact if we retrieve the purchase order lines is exactly the same behavior. At least it's supposed to be exactly the same behavior. So if it doesn't work, it's a bug, you should log it. But yes, it's exactly the same as with the OCR. So electronic invoicing should not have regression against the OCR. So yes, it's the purpose that he retrieves the purchase order lines exactly the same way. I think it will be even more easy with PEPL and with XML files because we can easily find, let's say, the purchase or reference, while OCR always is still a little bit guessing. It will never be perfect.
Was there a part about analytic as well? You can create analytic distribution models as
comes-
well to find a
It
to
comes from
link.
the purchase order lines.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it comes from the purchase order automatically, of course. Yeah, if
the
there is a
purchase order
purchase
lines,
order link.
but indeed you're right. If they are mentioned on the purchase line, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I think we finished the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, again, thank you
Thank
very
you very
much,
much.
everyone, for being there.